And in friction, we had seen the causes of the friction, which was irregularities and roughness between the surfaces. Then we had seen about the static friction and kinetic friction. We have seen that static friction is a self-adjusting friction, okay? Self-adjusting friction, like this, okay? Over here, self-adjusting friction. And the maximum value of static friction, the maximum value of static friction, okay, this case over here, okay, was limiting friction case, okay, this was limiting friction case. Maximum value of static friction is a limiting friction case. And on that force the body is at rest, but extra thing happens, which is that the body is on the verge of motion, or means the body will now move if you increase the force a little bit, okay. So that is limiting friction. Then we had seen dynamic friction and kinetic friction, and we had seen that the static friction is greater than the dynamic friction, okay. Why? Because after the body starts to move, so some of the irregularities either they break, or what happens, there is a wearing. So due to which the irregularities or the roughness decreases. That's why now if the body is moving, it is continued to move, then what will happen? The friction force becomes less. Okay. So that's the reason why kinetic friction is less than the static friction. Okay. So then we started kinetic friction, and due to the here we studied that due to reduced interlocking, the opposing force decreases, and that's why static friction is greater than the kinetic friction. Okay. So up to here we have already covered. Up to this point we have already covered. So anybody is having any doubt up to here, you can ask. Yes. If anybody is having any doubt up to here, you can ask. Nobody is having any doubt. Shall I move forward then? Okay, fine. Okay. So we have to see now, we have to see the types of kinetic friction, in which we will study sliding friction. We will study sliding friction, as well as we'll be studying about the rolling friction. So next heading what we have is about the types of kinetic friction. Okay. So next is types of kinetic friction. Okay. So in this we will study about the first sliding friction. We'll first see what is sorry, sliding friction. Okay. And the second what we will study will be rolling friction. Okay. So now anybody who wants to tell anything about the sliding friction, okay, or whatever you know about the sliding friction, can you tell about the sliding friction if you know anything? Yes. Slides over another surface. Okay, when a body slides over another surface, then that case is sliding friction. There will be less number of interlocking. Okay, in which case there will be less number of interlocking? In which case there will be, okay, in sliding friction you are saying there will be less number of interlocking. Okay, the friction which exists when a body is sliding over one another is called a sliding friction. Okay, anybody else? Okay, less time given to interlock. Less time given to interlock. Okay, so you are saying that it depends upon the time too. The sliding friction refers to the resistance created by the two objects sliding against each other. Okay. This looks good, Trisha. Friction on a smooth surface. Okay. Friction on a smooth surface. Okay. Sliding friction. Slide on in. Slide in another object and reduce frictions. Less time taken to push the object. Okay. Two objects slides against each other when the body slides on the surface. Okay, okay, fine. I'll write the definition now. I'll write the definition and then we'll try to understand what is sliding friction first. Okay. So let us assume that there is a block and there's a surface. This is the surface. Okay. I'm not drawing the irregularities now because all of us know that even though if I draw the straight plane surfaces, there are some irregularities on between the blocks. Okay. So now if you are standing over here, okay, you are standing over here and you are pushing this block. You are pushing this block. Okay. So what will block, how the block will move? How the block will move? It will move in this direction. So all this contact, this complete contact will be constantly attached. Okay. This complete part of this body will be in contact with the surface. Okay. Now you tell me, if I assume this to be like a 3D diagram, okay, if you can assume, because this is a block, okay, I'm assuming this to be a 3D diagram. So can you think, is there a surface in contact? Okay, my question is there a surface in contact? Is there a line in contact? Or is there a point in contact? Yes. For this object over here, which is the case? Is there a surface in contact? Is there a line in contact? Or is there a point in contact? Come on. There is a surface in contact. This is a surface contact. Okay. All of you understand this point? There is a surface in contact. Okay. So when such kind of motion happens, so this is called as the sliding motion. This is called as a sliding motion. Okay. The block on the surface will make a sliding motion. Now, whenever there is a resistance between the two surfaces and there is a sliding motion, so what happens? That resistance is termed as the sliding friction. Okay. So friction between. So if I write the definition for this, so what I will write, the friction between two surfaces, okay, when sliding motion is present. Okay, when the sliding motion is present, in that case the friction called is a sliding friction. Okay, this is the concept of sliding friction. Now, on what factors this depends? On what factors does this depends? So first thing on which it depends. Okay, so sliding friction depends upon. Yes, anybody who wants to tell? Sliding friction depends upon. First point, anybody who can tell me? Sliding friction depends on. Yes. The surface in contact. Okay, the surfaces in contact. The surfaces in contact. Okay, the surfaces in contact. Actually, how much potential energy or how much potential is there? Okay, how much attraction, electromagnetic attraction is there between the two surfaces in contact? That is what it depends. Okay, the sliding friction. Anything else on which it depends? Yes. Anything else on which it depends? You can say irregularities or roughness. Okay, you can say irregularities or roughness. Okay, you can say it is roughness, irregularities or roughness. Okay, so these all are points on which it depends. Now, the main thing is on what factors it does not depends. On what factors it does not depends. So it does not depends on, yes, anybody? It does not depends on A, yes, okay, mass, okay. No, no, actually, if the mass of the body is there, it will directly depend because force will be linked with it, okay. Normal reaction will be linked with it, okay. Anybody, anything else? See, surface area, contact area. It does not depends upon the contact area. Sliding friction does not depends upon the contact area of the body. Okay. A. B value. Sorry, B. B is the velocity. Okay. Velocity. It does not depends upon the velocity. It does not depends upon the velocity also. Okay. So these are the two major things which you should understand, that friction force does not depend, the sliding friction does not depends upon the contact area. Okay. It does not depends upon the velocity of the body. Okay. Did you understand all these points? Yes. Is anybody having any doubt now? Is there anyone who is having doubt? Yes. See, I cannot say weight because when you study about the mathematical equations of the sliding friction, okay, so you will see that mg equation will come. Okay, mg equation will come. Okay, so it does depends upon the normal reaction, and the normal reaction does depends upon the weight. Understood? Force, how the force will be linked over here? How the force we can link here? No, no, we cannot link a force over here. Na? We cannot link a force over here. Okay, so A and B, the surface in contact, okay, it depends upon that, how the surfaces are there in contact. Then the level of roughness, you can say, okay, that also depends. Now the second is, it does not depends upon contact area under contact, it does not depends, and also it does not depends upon the velocity. So that is all about the sliding friction that we have to study. Equations we don't have. Equations of sliding, equation of friction, okay, equation of friction we don't have, right? Now the next is rolling friction. The second one is rolling friction. Anybody who can tell me about the rolling friction? Friction between two surfaces when body rolls on the surface. Okay. Rolling friction. Anybody else? I got only 2-3 answers. Yes. When the body rolls on the surface. Okay. Anybody else? Come on. What you people are doing? No interlock. Okay. No interlock. Okay. This is one point we have to discuss. No interlock. This is the one point which we will discuss. Rolls over another surface, the friction acting there called rolling friction. Okay, the friction between two surfaces when the body rolls on the surface. Okay, less friction, resistive force that slows down. Okay. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, let us see here. Let us see over here. I'll try to take an example and try to explain you the things. Okay. Suppose, okay, all of you just now see here. All of you see here now. Okay. Nobody will write anything now. You just see here. Suppose I take two cases. Nobody will write now. Now you have to see on the screen. Nobody will write now anything. You just see here. I am giving you two cases. Okay. One case, in your cycle, okay, the wheel is completely inflated. Okay. It is having full air. Okay. There is no, what you say, less air in that. Okay. It is completely inflated. Okay. Completely inflated means that air is full, like that. Now, second case, case A, full air, case B, little less air, case B, little less air. In which case do you feel more force while riding the bicycle? Case A, full of air, okay, little less air, or sufficiently less air, less amount of air. So in which case do you feel more amount of force while riding the bicycle? In case B, you feel more force, okay, to ride a bicycle. In case A, it is lot much easier. It becomes very easy in case A, but in case B, it's difficult. Why is it? Can anybody explain me the thing over here? Yes? Can anyone explain me the thing here? What is important or what is happening over here? Why in case A, the friction or the force that you apply to ride a bicycle is less, and in case B, the force you apply is more? There was the air force. Which air force you're talking of? Because friction will be more. In which case friction will be more, you say? Case A, friction will be more. If in case A, the friction is more, so you should be having more opposition, na? In case B, the friction should be more. Okay, let us see now. Let us see now. In which case the contact area will be more? In case A or in case B? Contact area when the air is less and when the air is more. In which case do you think, if you can visualize the person who is having less air or punctured tire, in which case you are having more contact area? Is it in case A or is it in case B? Contact area. Yes, I'm talking about contact area. Contact area in A and contact area in B. In which case it is greater, A or B? I can say with my experience that the contact area in the case B is greater as compared to the contact area in A. Because when the air is not present, so what happens? There is a contact between there's a larger contact between the surface and the tire. Okay. Now, why I'm taking all these points? So I wanted to give a real example that you would have, most of you would have seen, or most of you would have encountered at some point in your life. So now this rolling friction, everybody told it correct that whenever the two body rolls, okay, sorry, when a body rolls over the another surface, at that point, whatever the friction force is there, we call it as a rolling friction. Okay, so that's not a big deal to understand. So what I wanted to explain over here is that the difference between the rolling and the sliding friction over here is that rolling friction, okay, rolling friction is less than sliding friction. This is the important point. Okay, this everybody would be knowing. Now I am trying to focus on the reason. I am trying to focus on the reason. Okay, probable reason. Okay, now the first reason what I can tell, that rolling friction depends upon the contact surface. Okay, it depends upon the contact area. So in case of rolling, okay, sorry, in case of rolling, okay, it depends upon area under contact. But in sliding, it does not depend. So you have to understand that when I say, when you are studying in the book, that slide, there is no, the friction does not depends upon the contact area. So that is said about the sliding friction. But for the rolling friction, it does depend. Okay, it does depends in the case of rolling friction. Understood? So in case of rolling, it depends, okay, it depends on contact area. So if the area is more, contact area is more, so what happens? The friction is more. See here, in this case, this is the case over here. Okay. Now, second thing what I want to explain you, that the interlocking, so many students, 2-3 students have told, that there is no interlocking. I cannot say that there is no interlocking, but it is correct to say there is very little interlocking. Okay, because in case A, okay, theoretically we assume that there is contact at only one point. There is contact at only one point. Okay, but for a wheel it is like a line contact. Understood? Can you understand this, what I'm trying to say? That you are, suppose this is the road, and if you see a wheel, so you will have a wheel like this. So you are having either a line contact or a point contact. You will have a line contact or a point contact. So I can say the interlocking. Okay, so interlocking is less. I cannot say there is no interlocking, but I can say that there is a less number of interlocking. Okay, interlocking is less. This is what I can say. So why this rolling friction is less than the sliding friction? That the rolling friction does depends upon the contact area. It does depends upon the contact area. Also, the rolling friction, interlocking is less because of either line contact, or point contact. How many of you have understood? How many of you could not understand what is line contact or point contact? Just let me know. Yes, but friction cannot. Yeah, friction cannot be zero. Friction cannot be zero. That's what I'm saying. The friction cannot be zero. I'm not saying, I didn't say anywhere that the friction is zero. I'm just saying there is a friction, but there is a less amount of friction. Okay. How many of you are not able to understand this point, that what is actually line contact or what is a point contact? If anybody is having any doubt in this, just let me know. Okay. Second point you are not able to understand. Okay, second point I'll explain you again. Just see here. I first only in sliding friction I asked you that when I have a block, I'm repeating it. When I have a block, okay. When I have a block, so is there a surface contact or a line contact? You tell me. Is there a surface contact or a line contact? Between the surface, yes, between the surface and the block, is there a line contact or a surface contact? Surface contact. Okay, fine. Now suppose I'm having a surface, okay, a road, and I'm taking a thin wire of a circular shape, thin wire. This is a thin wire. Okay, like a circle on the like a circle on a road, okay, like a circle on a road, thin circle made up of wire on a road. Okay, so is it a line contact or a point contact? Yes. Is it a line contact or a point contact? How is it a line contact? Is it a line contact or a point contact? It is a point contact, dear. How line contact you people are saying? It is like a tangent, na? A thin wire I have written, thin wire, very, very thin wire. Just see here, thin wire I am taking. Do you understand it? This is thin wire. So this is a point contact over here. Now you have a point contact and you have a surface contact. Okay. You have a line contact and you have a point contact. So surface contact in case A, surface contact here, point contact over here. Now you just try to visualize in which case there will be less friction, case A or case B, because here there is a point contact. Na? Over here, just see over here, how is the road? How you will feel like a road like this only. Na? So is there a line contact or a point contact? This is a point contact. Do you understand what is point contact now? Anybody who is still not able to understand a point contact? Is there anyone who is still not able to understand the point contact? Why, Rajkumar, I can't understand what you are writing. Surface can be tell as line. No. Okay. So this is about, if anybody has not understood, do one thing. You take a wire, make a circle out of it and keep it on that. Okay. Keep on the book or a table. Just see what you are having. You are having a complete length of a line, or you are just having a point. Okay. If you can't understand, just do one thing. You take a wire. Okay. Charger wire you can take. Okay. Or data cable you can take, and you can just make a circle out of that and keep it, and just hold it and keep it on the surface. Okay. Then what you will have a point contact over there. You will not have a line contact over there. Okay. Fine. So that's what a line point contact means. That's what a point contact means. Okay. Now to understand line contact, what you do? To understand line contact, what you do? You just take a water bottle. Okay. Circular water bottle. Circular water bottle. Okay. And keep that. Okay. Keep that not upright. You just put it down. Okay. You just, this is a bottle. This will be the bottle. Like this, you have to keep the bottle. Okay. Now this complete thing, like this, you keep it. So what is this? Is this a point contact or this is a line contact? Take a bottle, circular bottle, cylindrical bottle. You just keep it like that. What you are able to see? Line contact or point contact? So this is what I'm telling. This is what I'm telling. Okay. So in which case, if in rolling case is this is the only rolling case, na? This is rolling case. This is the rolling case, and this is the sliding case. Yes. So in which case you will have a less friction? In which case you will have a less friction? In the rolling case, you will have the less friction. So that's why I'm saying the interlocking is less. Why interlocking is less? So many people wrote now that the interlocking is not there or interlocking is less. Why interlocking is less? Because there is either a line contact or there is a point contact. That's the reason why the interlocking is less. Okay. So sliding case, more interlocking. That's why more friction. Okay. Rolling case, less contact, thin contact, line contact or point contact. That's why it's a less friction. Okay. So this is all about the rolling friction. Okay. You will study much in detail. Okay. In higher classes. Okay. And you'll see more about the rolling friction when you do higher studies. Okay. In class 11th, you will just see the mathematical equations of these things. Okay. But when you go on to study in like PG and UGs, so you'll study there about more about the rolling friction over there. Okay. Now, what are the ways to decrease? What are the ways to decrease the friction? There is, just let me know few points. Yes, we'll finish this friction topic. Tell me the points. Ways to reduce the friction. Ways to reduce the friction. Ways to reduce the friction. How can I reduce a friction? Reduce a friction. How can we reduce a friction? Reducing a friction. Okay. First, ball bearings. Ball bearings. Ball bearings. Okay. Second, lubricants. Lubricants. Okay. Grease. Okay. Lubricants. Grease. Anything else? Anything else? Surface. Smooth surface. Making the surface smooth. Making the surface smooth. Making the surface smooth. Surface smooth. Okay. And etc. And etc. Okay. So you can understand by this now. Okay. So these are the ways how we can reduce the friction. So now if anybody is having any doubt, you just ask in sliding friction and rolling friction. If anybody is having any doubt, any kind of doubt. Yeah, friction can be reduced by using wheels. Okay. To reduce. Okay. If anybody is having any doubt, you just ask. Otherwise, I'm going to take the new topic. Shall I move on to the next topic? Okay. Then good. So next topic is Next topic is, I'll show you the page afterwards. I told you I'll show you the pages. I'll give you the slides at the end of the class. Okay. Don't worry about that. So the next topic is, we are going to study about the moment. Okay. Moment of a force. So next topic is moment. Moment of force. Moment of force. Now, before studying about the moment of force, we have to study few definitions, small definitions. Okay, we'll complete that and then we will move on to the moment of force. Now, first thing that you should understand is rigid body. Okay, the first thing that we should understand is rigid body. Now, again, if you think that there is a body in this world which can be called as perfectly rigid, okay, so it is not that case. Okay, perfectly rigid body does not lie. Okay, it does not exist in the world. So what is the definition of the rigid body? So if you have a body and you apply a force on it, you have a body and if you apply a force on it, it should not deform, it should not break. Okay, it should not change its shape or size. It should not deform, I can say, and no matter how large the force is applied. So if I ask you, can you name a body? Can you tell me a body, okay, on which I apply huge force, no matter how large force I apply, it is not changing its shape. Can you tell me a body like that? Yes. Wall. Can I not break a wall with a hammer or a crane? Yes. Can I break a wall with a hammer? Yes, I can do. But with the crane, I can obviously do. Wood. Just think what I'm asking and then reply. Is there a body in this world which cannot be deformed, okay, no matter how large the force be? Diamond will be broken by diamond itself, dear. Diamond will be broken by the diamond or the ceramic cutters. Okay, so there is no such body or there is no such entity, okay, which cannot be broken, okay, with a huge force that we give. Okay, so now the definition what I can write is, okay, a body that does not deform, a body, okay, a body that does not deform, a body that does not deform, no matter how large the force is, no matter how large the force is applied. The force applied is, okay, such bodies will be called as rigid bodies. Okay, such bodies will be called as rigid bodies. Okay, now again I can say that for a force, for a given amount, for a given force, again, because in physics generally we study about the relative, we study about the relative objects, okay, relative forces, relative concept. So if I have a wooden block, if I have a wooden block, okay, so for that wooden block, a small amount of force, a small amount of 1 Newton of force will not break. Okay, that cannot break that wooden block. Okay, so that 1 Newton of force, for that 1 Newton of force, okay, this wooden block is acting like a rigid body. Again, I'm repeating it. Again, I'm repeating it. I have a wooden block or I have a stone, okay, block, okay, which is huge in size, and now I am applying a very little force, suppose 1 Newton of force, okay, and this is a stone of somewhere around 100 kg. Now can I say that for this force, this body acts as a rigid body because this force is not able to deform this body? Can I say it like that? Yes, I can say it like that because for 1 Newton, that this 1 Newton force is not able to break that body. Okay, so for this force, this stone acts as a rigid body. This is also a kind of definition that you will find. And now this is only what we are going to use. This is the only thing what we are going to use. Okay, so I hope you have understood this concept. Okay, about the rigid body. Fine. Now, the second point what we are going to see is about the forces. Okay, about the force. Force we have already studied. We'll not see what is force and all. We'll see little points in this force. Okay, suppose this is an object. This is an object. Okay, now I'm tying a string with this. I'm tying a string with this. Okay, and a boy. Okay, and a boy is pulling it, and the boy is pulling this string like this. Okay, there is an angle. There is obviously an angle. Okay, made with horizontal. Okay, now you tell me that this point A, the point A will be called as, this point A will be called as point of action of force. This point will be called as point of action of force. Point of action of force. Okay, fine. Now this is the force direction. This is the direction of the force, if you can see. Okay, now along this line, if I extend this, so this particular line, okay, this particular line over here, this will be called as line of action of force. This line will be called as line of action of force. Do you understand this? Because along this line only, the force is being acted. Along this line only, the force is acted. You cannot say that this is the line of action. You cannot say this horizontal line is the line of action. No. Why we cannot say? Because the force is not acted horizontally. The force is not acted horizontally. It is acted at an angle with the horizontal. If you see it, the force is being acted at a certain angle with the horizontal. Is it clear? So you cannot say that the force or the line of action is horizontal. It is not horizontal. It is not horizontal. It is at certain angle. It is at certain angle with the horizontal. Did you understand these two concepts? Yes. Point of contact. Did you understand what is point of contact and line of action? Yes. Did you understand what is point of contact and line of contact? Okay, line of action, you are having any problem. Okay, I'll give you another example. Suppose you have a block. Okay, suppose you have a block like this. Fine. Now what you are doing, you are pushing this block in this direction. What you are doing, you are pushing this block in this direction. Okay. Now just do one thing. You just draw a straight line along the direction in which you are applying the force. You just draw the straight line along the direction which you are applying the force. Do you understand? Can you figure it out that one thing you tell me before going on to this line of action of force? Can you understand this one point? Yes, that force applied in this direction as well as the force applied in this direction. Okay, wait. Force applied like this and the force applied like this will be different. The effect on the block will be same or will be different. If I apply a force like in A or if I apply a force B, the effect will be same or it will be different? It will be different. Understood? First, you have to try to understand this point, that force A and force B will have a different effect on the body. Why? Because in case of B, there is a chance, that the body can move like this. There's a chance that the body moves like this. Okay? There's a chance that the body can be lifted. Okay, at one point of time. So all those things are different. Okay, all those things are different. What I want to tell you with this example, that A and B will have different kinds of effect on the body. Now, if they have different kind of effect, so wherever I apply a force on this line, okay, either I apply in this direction, either I take a point and then tie a string and then pull it, either I tie a string over here and then pull it. All the effects will be what? Same. All the effects will be same. Yes or no? All the effects will be same. Yes or no? Okay. Now, on this, okay, so all the effects will be same. Then this complete line will be called as line of action of force. This complete line will be called as line of action of force. And if I write the definition for line of action of force, so what I will write? That the effect, okay, wherever I apply the force, on the line of action of the force, the effect will always be the same. Okay, so no matter where you apply the force on the line of action, the effect will always be same. Okay, so if I write the definition, so what I can write? No matter where we apply force, on line of action, okay, on line of action, force, effect of force, okay, effect of force, better we should write, effect of force will be the same. Okay, the effect of the force will be the same. Is it okay? This is about the line of action. Did you understand this now? What is line of action of force? Yes? Okay. Now, if you have understood all these 3 points, that what is rigid body, what is point of action of force, and what is line of action of force, now you are ready to study moment of force. Now you are ready to study the moment of force. Okay. So what is moment of force now? Okay. Moment. Next is moment, what we have to see. Moment. Okay. So try to understand one thing. What is a moment? Okay. That suppose when the door is closed or when you are closing the door, in either case, okay, what do? What are you actually doing? You are applying a force in a straight line. What you are doing? You are applying a force in a straight line. Okay. What happens to the door? Can anyone tell me? Is it moving in a straight line or is it turning? Yes. When you apply a force at one end of on the door, what happens to it? Is it moving in circular direction, or is it turning, or is there a straight line motion? Yes, it is turning. It is turning. Okay, it is turning. So any force which gives the turning effect, okay, so that complete situation, that thing will be called as moment. Okay, that thing will be called as moment. So what is moment of the force now? What is moment of the force? How will I define it? How will I define a moment of a force? So that turning effect produced by the force on the body, okay, on which it acts, is called as moment of the force. So I'm writing the definition over here. Okay, so moment of force. No, momentum and moment are two different things. Don't confuse with these two. Momentum and moment are two different things. Okay. Moment and momentum are different things. They are not the same. So what definition we can write is the turning effect. This is important. Which effect? Turning effect. If there is no turning effect, there will be no moment of force. Okay. So turning effect produced. So this turning effect, this word is important. So turning effect produced by the force, okay, on the body, on which it acts, So that is called as the turning effect. So I guess you people have a basic idea actually what is the turning effect. Okay. So any other example that you can give me? Any other example that you can give me like that? A door, like a door. Any other example that you people can give me? Yes. Any other example can you give me? Not a not drawing. Okay, not a drawing scale. Mhm. Window. Okay, window. Correct. Opening and closing of window. Correct. How a pen cap will be turning effect? Pen cap. How? Okay, you are saying that when you apply a force, it rotates. Okay, that's also correct. That's also correct. That's also correct. Pen cap. Entry of a park gate. Correct. Entry of a park gate. Water bottle. Correct. Water bottle. Correct. Anything else? Car back opening. Correct. Car back opening also is correct. Tap. Very good. Very good. Tap is also correct. Kicking football. Kicking a football. No, actually kicking a football won't be a moment. Kicking a football won't be a moment. Okay. Kicking a football won't be a moment. Opening the fridge gate. Correct. Fidget spinner. Correct. Laptop opening and closing. Good. Force applied to the spanner to rotate nuts. Correct. Opening a jar. Good. Okay, okay. So I guess most of you would have understood by now. Okay. What is moment of force? By now you would have understood. Okay. Okay. So this moment of force. Okay. So this point to remember, moment of force is also called as moment of force is also sorry is also called as. Have you studied about this? Have you listened about this word? Have you heard about this word? Torque? Yes, you would have studied the torque. In junior classes, definitely you would have studied. In class 7th or 8th, definitely there would be a topic torque. I'm sure of that. In class 7th or 8th, definitely this topic will be there, torque. Okay? So don't say that you have not heard about this. 7th or 8th, there is a torque. Word torque is there in class 7th or 8th. I'm not sure in which class it is, but it is there. Okay? So moment of force is also called as torque. Moment of force is also called as torque. Okay? So if you have not studied or if you have not heard, so now you have heard. Okay? So moment of force is also called as the torque. Is this fine? Okay? Yeah. No formula was there. Formula you will study now. I'm giving you the formula. Okay? I'll tell you how to find out how to do the calculations. We'll do numericals on that. Okay? Let us first study the formula. Okay? So what is moment of force? How the equation will be given? So moment of force, if I write, okay, moment of force, okay, this I can write as torque, okay. This is represented by the tau, okay, tau. And how do you write the mathematical equation for this? Is force, okay, whichever force you are applying. Can you visualize this? See here, suppose there is a door, okay, this is the opening, okay, this is the opening, okay, and here you are having door, this is the door, suppose, okay, door, is it okay? This is the handle, fine. So what happens, you are applying the force here, you are applying the force here, okay, perpendicularly to the page, perpendicular to the page you are applying the force, correct or not? You are applying perpendicular to the page when you are entering, okay, you are standing over here, you are standing over here, and you are applying the force perpendicular to it, okay. So force, which force, which you are applying it, which you are applying, okay, so that's the force, multiplied by perpendicular distance, okay. See, most of you will remember it by force into distance, okay, that is correct formula, okay, that's not wrong, okay, but I want you people to remember that formula in a different way, because when you go in higher classes, that perpendicular distance, calculation of that perpendicular distance becomes very critical. Most of you will not be able to identify or will not be able to understand that which distance, okay. Here, because it's in ninth class, we have very simple cases where perpendicular distance will be very easy for you to calculate, okay. But in higher classes, you will not be able to identify which perpendicular distance, or most of you will forget about the distance, which distance I have to take, okay. Because the student just now has written torque is equals to force into radius. Now, which radius? Now, if I ask you which radius is that? This is also a radius, this is also a distance, this is also a distance, which distance? So perpendicular distance. Now the perpendicular distance will be only one. It will be only one. There is no other perpendicular distance. Okay. So the perpendicular distance by force. Okay. Perpendicular distance of the force. Of the point. Okay. Of the point. Okay. About which I'm writing it in detail. I'm writing in detail so that you can have a better understanding, and how you want to remember it, it's up to you then, okay. So perpendicular distance of the point about which moment is about which moment is needed, and the point of and the line of action, of force, okay. So this is the complete definition, don't understand that to confuse you, or like simply I have written this definition. No, this has a great significance. That's why I have taught you line of action. Okay, line of action is a very, very important thing. Calculating line of action is a very, very important thing. Okay, I'll give you the example. Okay, we'll start from this page only from the next class. From the next class, I will start from this page only. Okay, don't worry. So just remember the definition. Okay, understanding or how this definition works and what is this perpendicular line of action, how is this line of action we have to understand, we'll see in the next class. Okay, so now you can take the slides, and in between if anybody is having any doubt you can ask. In between if anybody is having any doubt you can ask. You can take the slides. In between if anybody is having any doubt you can ask. I told you that definition I'll explain you with an example in the next class. Okay. You just remind me in the next class. Okay. That I have to start from there and I have to give you the example. But I'll figure it out when I see you over there. Okay. But still you just remind me. Okay. I will start from there and I'll give you 2-3 examples. Okay. Why I have written that definition. Okay. See, if I simplify or if I write that definition like perpendicular distance, like force into distance, then you will forget about that importance of that. Okay. You will understand just now one student had written force into radius. Okay. So which radius you will not be able to understand if you don't figure it out. Okay. Once you understand that point, okay, then you can change the definition, how you have to remember and what you have to write. So next class, you just remind me. Okay. Done. Okay. So next class, we will start from here only. Okay. Next class, we will start from here only. Okay. So I'm just writing over here so that I'll also remember. Okay. Thank you.